Yippee-doo, I'm live. Yippee-doo, I'm live. Sorry I'm late. It's been, just been quiet, just been one of them mornings. So, I am sorry. Cannot be helped. Right, painting civilians. We're painting civilians. What brush shall we use here? Size O. A size O. Yeah, size O. Good morning, one person. Hope you're all well. I hope you're all well. One person, and I'm saying all. I hope you are well. Right, painting civilians. Airborne medics and civilians. Let's get this sanding stick out the way. That over there a minute. Tweezers can go out the way. Let's organize my bench a minute. These tweezers can go out the way there. Brushes here. Size brush is this? That's a naught. Good morning. Hope you're well. How is life treating you? Size 1. We'll go to a size 1 brush. Right. Get the palettes damp enough. Right. Medics and civilians, they're all primed up. You probably can't see that. Really weary. I'll be resting my legs this weekend. Well, always good to rest your legs. I'm much the same. I get a lot of problem with my knees at present, which is not good. And when I walk, my left leg feels quite sort of gammy when I walk. I don't know what it is. Anyhow, all primed with the obligatory German dark yellow primer, which is what they call Dunkelgelb. But it's ahoy, ahoy, matey. Good morning. Nice to see you. There's 3 figures that are not primed. Reason being, this guy with the sling's got to have some adjustments done to his sling. So I got to do that. I got to put some straps on the sling because it doesn't marry up with what's on his chest and the arm. It doesn't work right, so I've got to sort that out. This guy, Major Carlisle, he still needs his brolly fitted. I've made the brolly, which is here somewhere. One brolly. So I've made that. And this guy, our priest, he has very delicate feet. You can see I put green stuff in there to give them some support. What I've done with these figures is I've drilled out the feet and put pins in to pin them to the cork. I'm not going to do it with this figure because I don't think the legs are how did the digger driver come on, Karen? I'll tell you in a minute, matey. I don't think these feet are strong enough to take the drilling and the pins, so I'm going to super glue him to his base before I prime him. So that's that. The digger driver is coming along. Where's the digger driver? You probably won't be able to see much on this because it's not a good camera. Well, it's an okay camera, but for this type of thing, it's not really that great. But as you can see, the trousers are painted. Probably could do with another coat, perhaps. I've done quite a bit of work to the face and the arms, so he's starting to come on well. Starting to come on well. Still more work to do to the face, but yeah, he's coming on well. He's coming on well. Be a nice figure when it's done. Be a nice model. Yes, ahoy there, matey. Nice broadcast last night. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Coffee. Yes, thoroughly enjoyable broadcast. Right, first things first. First thing we will do on these figures is the flesh tone. Always do the flesh tone first. Well, that's my way anyway. This figure, which is a jolly nice figure, has a fantastic face on him. So I'm not going to do the face on this figure today. I'm going to leave him because I'm going to do a painting tutorial how I do faces. So this figure will be ideal. So we'll leave him out. Excuse my arm. But we'll do all the others. We'll start all the others. First color is Panzer Aces Flesh Base. And I don't know if you can see that or not. Rosemary & Co. #1 brush. His replacement driver isn't the best. Okay, I'll try and crack on and finish him for you. I'll try and crack on and finish him for you. But he's starting to look very good. I'm going to give the shirt some highlights. A few highlights on the pants. It won't be a lot. It won't be a lot to finish him. But he's starting to look good. Right, Panzer Aces. Panzer Aces. Flesh base. Let's get some flesh base on these figures. I've been looking forward to this for ages. Getting some color on these figures because they have been a lot of, I tell you, they have been a lot of work. A lot of work in the of these figures. A lot of mold lines to scrape off. Took me about 2.5 days to scrape all the mold lines off and the flash and stuff. Then you've got to go round, once you've glued them all together, you've got to go around and add filler to all the gaps and everything. Yeah, a lot of effort on these figures. Got to get my automatic paint shaker out. This is no good. I got to put balls in these paints, which I have here. I've been saying this for months. I must do this. Trouble is, what puts me off doing this job is the amount of paint, sheer amount of paint I have here. I have more or less, give or take a bottle, I have about sort of 500 paints here, believe it or not. And just doing this job, knowing that figure, sort of puts me off a bit. But I must get round to doing it. I must just forego everything and spend an afternoon and just sort this job out. But anyway, Panzer Aces Flesh Base, here we go. Get rid of the gum arabic from the brush. That's a good stuff to use. as I've told you before, gum arabic. It's very good. Once you've finished painting for the day and cleaned your brush out, with soap and whatever, just dip it in a little bit of gum arabic and work it to a point, and then leave it, and it keeps the point nice. It keeps the point nice. Right. I'll get going in a minute. A little drop of filtered water just for thinning the paint, because you want to put, rather than put shit, using the wrong color, Karen. Rather than put just one thick layer of paint on the miniature, you want a couple of thin layers on there. Always better to put thin layers on your miniature rather than thick paint. Here we go. These are going to look rather nice. Don't worry about going over the hair and stuff, that doesn't make any difference at all. Or going over the shirt collar or anything, that doesn't make any difference at all. Just lash on a bit of flesh base, get the thing painted up. But after all the sort of hard work of the prepping, they're going to make quite nice figures, I think. Here we go. We'll go up around there, up around the cap a bit. Got a cap on, I have to call this guy Fred Dibner or something, right? Dear old Fred, eh? Yeah, I don't know. At least the wind's gone down here, which is nice. It's almost been gale force here, the winds, which has not been great. Even had a bit of rain last night, which was something. And the reception on my shortwave radio has all gone to hell, but I assume that's down to the sun. Tell you what I didn't do on that last figure, I didn't do the hands. I'll do them in a second. Don't know why I didn't do the hands. Very remiss of me not to do the hands. It does happen, it does happen. Lovely to get colour on these figures and actually start seeing them look like human beings, which is nice. Rather than just pieces of plastic. These Masterbox figures are really quite nice. But I'm a considerable fan of Masterbox, I have to say. They're nice figures, they produce some nice stuff. Right, that's the hands done on that. Right, go back to the first one. Do the hands on him. Why I forgot the hands, I don't know. 11 o'clock again. I've gone back in time. This is a nice figure. Obviously, this guy works in a bakery of some kind, I suppose. Always nice, I think, to have a few civilians. It makes the thing that much more realistic, I think. You've got a few civilians dotted about. You have to go back through that way. That's tricky, that. That is dead tricky, that. Oh, flesh tone on his trousers. There you go. Not that it makes any difference getting flesh tone on his trousers, because you're going to paint over it anyway. So it doesn't matter. That's a good figure. Guy, you probably can't see it, but I can't see that. No, you can't see that. Can you see him now? Yeah, I can see him now a bit, can't you? Very nice figure, that. Awkward making the jacket, because the jacket, as you know, was in quite a few pieces. It didn't make life easy making that. I assume this guy is supposed to be Jewish, I would think. So we'll make him, as we're primarily doing Market Garden and we're in Holland, we'll make this fellow a Dutch Jew. But quite a nice figure from Masterbox. Didn't go together particularly well, as you know, if you watch previous videos. There's a lot of issues with the coat on this guy. But now we've got him together. I think it will look quite a nice figure indeed. Get a bit of colour down there. Don't worry about getting the colour on the beard, because we'll sort that out later. That needn't concern us at this point. Yeah, there you go. I don't know what he's supposed to be carrying. Is that a parcel or a book or what? I don't know. I don't know. Thin the paint as you go. Keep the paint nice and thin. Don't worry about the primer showing through. You'll get rid of that with your second coat. Nice moulding on the hands on this figure, I could say. Yeah, good, good. A little child, look. Little boy. Nice figure. Looks like a refugee. Looks like a refugee. Which there were a lot of refugees. Get a bit around his neck here. Oh, down to one person again. Oh well. You can always watch it on the rerun. One thing you do have to watch for painting with a brush is air bubbles, which can be somewhat of a nuisance. Here you go. A little bit on the hands here. She's rather nice. Sounds like the postman. So my door will possibly go in a minute. Yes, nice to see the wind dropped, I've got to say. Don't like it when it's really gusty wind. There you go. So our little boy done. Yeah. Right. Just making sure there's no comments. Right, I assume this guy is a glider pilot. I would think. Got to be careful with these figures, the hands are not the strongest ever, they're a bit fragile, they're out sort of flat like that. They can break off at the first knuckles, which is a nuisance. I have one lot go already. So you've got to be a bit sort of careful with them. Be okay when they're glued to their base, they'll be okay. It's just when you're working with them, they can have a habit of breaking. Right, nothing on the back of the neck of that? No. Get rid of some of that excess paint in the eye sockets. You don't want too much, you don't want to fill up the eye sockets with paint. There we go. Let that dry. Onward ever onward. I assume this... Don't do that, you make me jump. Yeah, I saw the Lee Moore, wasn't it? I saw the video, very windy, on Lee Moore. Good morning, Frank. Nice to see you. We're on the civilians. Yeah, I saw the video, Lee Moore, and I thought then, now that's really, really windy. But I didn't think it would be a warm wind for sure. That amazes me. I was expecting it to be quite a biting type of wind, but yeah, you live and learn. Most of the civilians, Frank, are now get that out of the way. Primed and prepped and yeah, ready to go. Ready to go. Yeah, it's like standing in a giant hairdryer. Not something I've ever done. Not something I've ever done. Stand in a giant hairdryer. I assume by looking at this guy, I would think, although I don't know, I would think this guy is probably something to do with the resistance. Raising his fist up in some kind of salute. Well, I suppose he could be a collaborator, perhaps, I don't know. Could be a collaborator. Nazi sympathizer. There we go. Right hands. Got to keep up on got to keep up on the comments. Yeah, gonna look good, gonna look good. I think this is certainly not the last stuff I'll do for World War II, but I think it's going to be the last stuff for now, because I could do with a bit of break from it, World War II. So I'll do something totally different when I finish these figures. Yeah. There you go, that's another one done. Let's get him on the pins a bit better. Right, that one's not got a head, but he's got a couple of hands I can paint, so I'll paint the hands on this figure. Yeah. Gonna look good. It's all part of the job. It's all part of the job. Bit tricky getting into some of these bits of the hands are a little bit awkward, the way the figure is positioned. And sort of struggling with this one a little bit. It's tricky. Tricky, very tricky. I've done it. It's not the easiest figure to paint. Here we go. Proffering somebody a cigarette, this guy. Casualties. Here we go. That's the hands done on that figure. Not that you can really see it, because the light's not good. And it's just a case of slowly working through these figures one by one. No rush. Never rush. Take your time. It came up in conversation last night about speed paint and speed painting, and like I said, it's people are always looking for quick ways to paint miniatures, which is why you get contrast paint and stuff. And to be honest with you, I don't think there is a quick way of painting miniatures. If you're going to do a nice job of them, you just have to put in the time. That's just the way it is. I mean, yeah, obviously you can paint them quickly because you can just do one colour on everything. Like, oh, I don't know, Napoleonic British infantry, you just paint the trousers grey, one colour grey, paint the jacket red, do the white webbing, no highlights. You can probably do them quite quickly. But if you're going to do a nice job, it does take your time to do them. It's just, it's nature of the hobby. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's just the nature of the hobby. It's a time-consuming hobby. And you're quite right in what you say. Why spend a lot of money on nice figures and then rush painting them and then do a crap job painting them just because you're rushing them? No, it's I don't see that. I take my time, and I'm quite happy to take my time. My output of figures is not high by any stretch of the imagination, but I like to think that what I put out is a pretty good standard. Certainly now I've sort of got the hang, or getting the hang of the job and what it entails. I think my standard of figures is pretty good. I'll try and keep it that way. So yeah, never rush. No, there's no rush. The whole world's in a rush, which is no good. I had to say, let's wash that out a minute. From the videos I've watched, online, it seems to me that the United States is almost in meltdown. Absolutely, Frank. I use my modelling to relax. Why should one rush? Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way of putting it. And it is very relaxing. It takes your mind off other stuff. And like you say, yeah, why rush? Why rush? There's absolutely no rush. And I like the fact at the end, when you sit back and look at the figures you've done, I like to sort of know I've done a good as job as I can do with them, and I've not sort of skimped on anything, you know, I mean, but then that's just me, and that goes for anything that I do. Doesn't matter whether it's painting these miniatures, setting up my shortwave, making preserves, whatever, it doesn't matter. I have to do as good a job as I can do. It's just, somebody once said to me, you're a perfectionist. I said, yeah, you're probably right. I don't always achieve it, but I have to try. I have to do as good a job as I can possibly do. So yeah, they never rush, never rush. Yeah, I was saying about the quiet. I was saying about the United States and the videos I've been watching. It's place is almost like in economic collapse. WI committee. Sorry about that noise. It's a WI messaging one another, which I'm a part of. WI committee. Yeah, the United States seems almost like an economic collapse. Can't believe it. Can't believe it. It's almost like in meltdown. You're getting a lot of places now where that are totally lawless. You're absolutely lawless. You know, there's a lot of areas where there's no police at all. And it's just dreadful, dreadful. A lot of it down. Good morning, number 4. A lot of it down to COVID. But possibly had to pop out back again. No problem. I never chastise anybody for leaving or going or whatever. You know, if you've got other stuff to do, because it's Saturday, if you've got other stuff to do, that's fine. I no problem at all with that. You can always watch it on the rerun. I mean, it's... Yeah, a lot of it since COVID, it seems that place seems to be spiraling into a black hole. It's just, you know, go and watch some of the videos. You'll see what I mean. And but then I was watching a video and I thought, well, that's possibly what COVID was meant to do when it was released, wreck the economy. That's probably what it was designed to do, not only kill people, but wreck the economy. And if you look at the United States now, yeah, it's certainly doing that. Yeah, it was a real eye-opener, a real eye-opener. I said to a friend of mine once, when you go down the main street, you keep your eyes open, will you? He said, why is that? I said, otherwise you won't see where you're going. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? Yeah, let's get on with these. Here, drinking coffee is not getting the work done. Let's get these. Get these painted. Gotta keep on. As much as it's nice sat drinking coffee, doesn't get the work done. Gotta get on and get these shifted. Where's my tweezers here? Little kind of a bit of something sticking out my brush. This is the last Denison smocks I'll be painting for a while, thankfully. No, I'm getting quite used to them now, actually. They're not too bad. Once you realise the format of how they're done and the way the jacket's put together, like you see some people online painting British Airborne, and they do a nice job, don't get me wrong, but they just paint the pattern all over the jacket, which looks okay at first sight, but then when you look at it, you think, well, that's not quite right, because down here of the jacket there's a seam, so the pattern's probably staggered, and like on the pockets as well, the pocket is a separate piece of material from the rest of the jacket, so you want to emphasize that rather than just blotch the pattern all over. But yeah, I'm getting used to it now. And they do look, I gotta say, they do look quite nice when done, I have to say, the airborne troops. Tell you what I gotta have a go at. I've been thinking about this last few days. Excuse me for losing my voice again. This happens every week. I have a problem in my throat. My friend of mine, neighbour a couple of rows over here, she's now going through exactly the same thing. She's having a job swallowing, so she's got to go and have all the tests now. I said, oh, you will enjoy that. I know what it's like. That was the worst experience ever, was having the camera down the throat. That was horrendous. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. Talk about gagging. Oh boy, that was horrid. Medieval torture couldn't have been so bad. It's awful. So she's now going to go through that, so I sympathise. They give you stuff, also they test your swallowing reflexes, so they give you stuff to drink. and you get sort of X-rayed, photograph, like the stuff they do. The stuff is like liquid bubble gum. They give you pink stuff. Yeah. But that's fine. That's fine. That's an easy thing to do. The worst thing was the camera, for sure. That was horrendous. If ever they had to do that again, I would say you can knock me out for this one, because the last time they did it, I was like conscious. All right, they give you stuff to sort of numb your throat, but I mean, I was conscious when I did it. If they ever did it again, I would say, right, you can knock me out for this one. I'm not going through that again. It's awful. So that's why I go croaky, because the muscles don't work properly in my throat and all that business. I have a problem sort of swallowing my food as well. I get bits of stuff stuck in my throat. I tend to try and eat these days. I tend to try and eat as much sort of that's another one done. Tend to eat as much sloppy stuff as I can. I like sloppy food. It goes down easy because I'm relying on gravity instead of the muscles pushing the food down as it should. I'm sort of relying on gravity. So I tend to eat a lot of sloppy stuff if I can. Gritty sort of stuff does me no good at all. Does me no good at all. I had here one occasion, I had a spasm in my esophagus. My word, I now know what it feels like to have a heart attack. Gee whiz, pain is indescribable when it seizes up solid. They rushed me in and stuck me on a heart monitor. And the heart was fine, and they surmised it was a esophageal spasm, which lasted for about 2.5 days. That was, gee whiz. But now I've got a spray thing. If it happens again, I just spray the throat. It's the same stuff they use for people with angina. They just, and it frees everything up, relaxes all the muscles and everything. Gee whiz, that was something else. Gee whiz. So, I take my medication for different things. Sometimes I get tablets stuck in my throat, and the worst thing is, like, tablets that are stuck in your throat and you can't get them down. They dissolve in your throat, burn your throat. That's that's unpleasant. But I'm still very fortunate. I'm here painting miniatures, so I'm still very fortunate. I see people that have brain tumors and heart defects and all this business. I consider myself incredibly, incredibly fortunate. I mean, watching those videos on the United States, I just think to myself, thank God I'm not there. I'm in a ghetto in, I don't know, Baltimore or somewhere like that, Chicago or something. I have a hell of a lot to be thankful for, and I know it. I know it. As much as my apartment is a bit small, I could do with more space. I don't knock it because I could have nowhere to live. So I don't knock it. Know thy place and be grateful. Would be nice though, just to have a little bit of garden. That would be quite nice. Just to be able to put my shortwave antennas outside. That would be nice. Just to just to see whether that makes a difference. Well, I'm sure it would make a difference, because with shortwave radio you put an antenna up indoors, even in the loft, you get a certain amount of signal deflection from the tiles on the roof, which is a shame. I can't complain. I do very well with reception. Obviously conditions depending, which is not good at the moment because of the way the sun is behaving. But actually I do very well. It's all part of the hobby. It's all part of the fun. Yeah. Yeah, these are going to make nice. These are going to make nice miniatures when they're done. So what I have got to do at some point, which I will do, to go with this stuff, I have a couple of boxes of resistance fighters I've got to do in this scale. Well, I think I've got 2 boxes of resistance by Masterbox and a couple by Italarai as well. So I've probably got about 4 boxes of resistance people, so they'll be nice to do. But like I say, once I've finished these civilians and medics, I'm going to have a break from World War II and do something totally different. I've got something totally different lined up, which is going to be great fun. I'm not going to tell you at present, but it's going to be great fun. Thoroughly enjoyed watching Enemy at the Door, if anybody remembers that series from the late 70s, about the German occupation of the Channel Islands. Thoroughly enjoying that. Well, I've only got 2 episodes left to watch, which I'll probably watch tonight. But it's been a thoroughly enjoyable series. But like all these series, good series anyway, you always find they never make enough. They never make enough. MASH being the exception, they made dozens and dozens of MASH, which I like very much. But generally, by and large with series, they never make enough of the thing. It's like The Prisoner with Patrick McGoohan. Anybody remember that series? They only made about, what was it, about 16 or something of them, and then they pulled the plug, which was a great shame. So it was a very, very good series. It did make you wonder with that series, all the sort of stuff that he was going through, and all the being in this weird village and stuff. It made you think, was it real, or was it all in his head? Very good series. Right, well that's not a bad character, smoking a cigarette. I don't know what he's smoking, Gauloise or something, I suppose, 'cause he's supposed to be a French civilian, although we'll use him for Dutch. I don't know what a Dutch cigarette would be called, or a Dutch brand of cigarettes. Now, it'd be interesting to see how this figure goes, the gendarme. That was the guy that had the issue with the big mold line down his face. So it's going to be interesting to see what his face actually looks like when it's finished. I always hate that when I see mold lines right down a face. That's see, these master box figures that we got here, the mold lines were done the opposite way. They were done that way, which is a lot better. That leaves the face alone, which is great. That's the way you want to do it. I hate that. Do you hate that? Getting little bits of dust in the paint, little bits of dust on your brush. That drives me crazy. Drives me crazy. Yeah, I've done as good a job as I can do with this face on this gendarme. What it's going to turn out like, I don't know. I did think at one point I'm going to have to make a new head for this, but I went back to it and tried again, and managed to sort of resurrect it. But what he's going to look like when he's finished, I don't know. He'll end up looking like the Elephant Man or something. Like a melted toffee. I like The Prisoner, but they were painting themselves into a corner with the plot. It had nowhere to go. What's that? Let's have a look at that a minute, Frank. We'll explore the strange things that happened. I spy, yeah, you could be right. You could be right. That's why they could have pulled the plug on it. You're quite right, Frank. After sort of 15, 16, where do you go with the plot? How many ways can you find to keep him in that village? Yeah, I agree with you, what you're saying, yeah. So it may have been just that. They couldn't come up with any more plots to keep the thing going. Yeah, yeah. Originally broadcast in black and white, The Prisoner, but was filmed in colour, which is what I've got here. I've got the colour version, which is nice. But I do like it. It's a nice series. And the car that he drove, what was that car that he drove? Was that a Lotus? I forget the car that he drove now, a little green thing, isn't it? A little green sporty thing that Patrick McGoohan drove. I've got the kit of that here. Tamiya do a kit of that car. I've got it here. So that'll be quite interesting to have a go at that at some point. Not over thrilled with the face on this figure, I have to say, but we'll see. We will see. Yes, so that's, I'm going to finish that series tonight. Enemy at the Door. I don't know what I'll watch after that. Find something to watch, I suppose. I've got Tenko here. I might have a go at that, perhaps. Start watching Tenko. Another good series. Yeah, you're very right in what you say, Frank. This is, although I'm only painting flesh tone, it is very relaxing. You're quite right. A nice way to spend Saturday. I don't know whether there's any major sporting things going on at the moment. I don't know. I haven't checked up because all the Five Nations, Six Nations rugby's finished, isn't it? That's finished. Don't know whether there's anything else going on. They've got armbands on them with crosses on. Yes, they have. Oh, that's very good. So I must look and see what the sport is doing. Listen, I'll tell you something now. For those of you that are interested, and I assume you're interested because you're all watching this video. And as you know, I have a problem with my hands are not great these days. Well, not too bad this morning actually. They're reasonable this morning, behaving reasonably this morning. But I will paint these things. Get rid of that a minute. Go away. There you go. Yes, yes, indeed. Portmeirion in Wales. Yes, my water cup here, look, that I use for my water. That's from Portmeirion. Portmeirion pottery. Yeah, what I was going to say was, I will paint these miniatures for as long as I can paint them, as long as my pulls will allow me, because I love to do it, because it's great, it's fun, it helps to keep me sane, so that's one of the reasons I do it. But I'm starting to go really quite deaf now, which is a bit of a drag. If I go totally deaf, then I'll hoik out all the shortwave stuff, because there'll be no point in having it. Hi-fi will go, because there'll be no point in having that. But if it does go, because if I got the hearing aids in the moment, you probably can't see them. You might see the tube there. If I take the hearing aids out, I have to get to the point now where I have a job to hear myself talking. So if it gets that bad and my hands are still reasonable, I will still make the videos because I'll have to make the videos as well. But I will, I don't know how easy it is to do. Somebody might be out there, just out there, be able to let me know. I will put captions on the videos. I will do it that way. I don't know how easy that is to do. I haven't really looked into it yet. I assume it's reasonably straightforward to do, put captions on videos. I suppose you have to have the appropriate software to do it. I don't know. I haven't really looked into this yet, but it's been in the back of my mind because, like I say, when I take the hearing aids out, I get a hell of a job now to sort of hear myself talk, and it's starting to get starting to go quite quite rapidly now, which is not good, not good. But something I will do if my hearing goes before my hands, then I will put captions up. I will find a way of putting captions up. Because it's just another lovely part of the hobby, doing stuff like this and interacting with people, making the videos. I just enjoy being in front of a camera. I just, it's great fun. It's the whole thing. It's the whole sort of package, if you like. It's painting the miniatures, making the videos, getting to know other people. It's the whole thing. But it's there you go. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. So I will look into putting captions up on videos. It's awful now when I come, like the end of the day or whatever, or I have to change the batteries in the hearing aids. You take them out and it's like your hearing just goes. It's like, oh. It's such a nuisance, such a nuisance. This guy with the rake, from Masterbox, tricky to put together the arms, because the arms are, one arm is whole, the other arm is like in two pieces. So judging the angle of the arms for the rake and stuff is tricky, it's fiddly. The hands are too wide apart, they need to be more that, but I didn't want to force them because I thought I'd end up breaking the damn thing. You could see me breaking the damn things. But he doesn't look too bad from front on. But what I will say is there's very good muscle definition in the arms on this figure. He looks very good indeed. He will look good painted. That's a Masterbox figure. It's a nice figure, and he's got his shirt sleeves rolled up, so he's going to look very nice. A little bit tricky to paint because of the position of the arms. Doesn't make painting that easy. Tell you, I did see the other day, I was pleased with. I went to the great metropolis of Penzance. Ralph will know where that's to, or he should do. and I was on the bus. Other buses that were on the same route were sort of passing by. I never seen so many female bus drivers, which I thought was great. I thought was nice, because they're well capable of doing that job. And it was very, very pleasing to see. Very pleasing indeed. Postman. The postman has come. I'll get those packages in a minute, and we will do an unboxing. I'll just paint this figure up first. Yeah, this is really fiddly to reach around here and get all this on. Right, I gotta go down in through like that. That's really fiddly. See, I got it on the rake now. Not that it matters, really. It doesn't really matter, because you're going to paint the rake a different color anyway. Yeah, nice to see so many female bus drivers. Equality is good. Right. You enable captions in the settings on your YouTube channel, my studio section, I think it's called, and everyone wishing to can see. Hang on, let's read that again. I didn't quite finish reading that. They disappear, these comments. And you can see what you're saying by flicking a switch at the end. Right. I might make a little test video and try this out. See how I get on with this. I might have a go at this. At least I'm prepared then for it when it happens, because I do think right, that's got to be cleaned out. That's going green. Okay. I do think it's inevitable that this is going to happen, unfortunately. So, if I'm prepared, that's going to be good. That's going to be good. I'm going to look into that. Thank you for telling me that, Ralph. That's good. That's good. How long have we been going at this? An hour and 13 minutes. 12 o'clock? 12 o'clock? Yeah, midday. Yes, indeed. Right, I'll paint this face. You don't have to make a test video, as all the videos you made in the past are caption enabled. Oh, okay. Okay, you're well ahead of me on this. That's great. That's fantastic. You're well ahead of me on this. I'm not, with this type of stuff, I gotta say, I'm not really technically minded on this type of stuff. You know? I sort of, with this type of stuff, I'll only learn it if I have to do it. If it comes to that I have to do it, then I'll learn it. If I don't have to do it, then I don't I don't tend to bother with it. That's, you know, that's just who I am. But I'm going to look into that. I'm going to have a go with that. Because, yeah, like I said here, I do think it's, unfortunately, it's going to be inevitable that this happens. Such is life. The joys are growing old. Joys are growing old. Looking falling to bits. There you go. Probably can't see that. Right. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's good. Try and look it up. Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be handy for me to be able to do this. Right, excuse me just a second. Get those packages. I suspect one is my, hopefully one is my cookie cutter. Ah, no, that's handy. I look a bit small. It must be right. Probably won't realise what that is. It's actually little rubber ends for my hearing aids. I've got some new tubes coming as well, because the stuff wears out. Hearing aid domes, yeah. Oh, that's handy. Yippee doo, yippee doo. Happy days. Right, give me a knife. Give me a knife. Let's cut this open. Hope this is my cookie cutter. Yeah. Excellent. This month. Right. What was that? Gotta dash, catch you again. Yes. Catch you again. Always captions and subtitles process. Right, I'm gonna find out about all this. This month at the WI, we're having a talk by a guy on lighthouses, a lighthouse keeper, or former lighthouse keeper. So I'm going to make some cookies for take along. So I've got this cookie cutter in shape of an anchor for cookies. So that's going to be fun. I got the chocolate out in the cupboard as well. So I make chocolate covered cookies in the shape of anchor. Keep everybody happy at the WI. Right, next civilian. That's our right. We will look into this and we will see how it pans out. Yeah, quite a good figure, a little child. Nice detailing on this figure. I need really to go and get my hearing tested. It's been a while since I've had it tested. I need to go and get it tested again to see how much it has gone down by. Quite considerably, I can tell you. I just know it. But there you go. There you go. Such is life. There are benefits to going deaf. You don't hear the seagulls so much. Or the neighbours. This is quite a tricky figure to paint, to get all the paint on the arms. Because the arms are so body. Tricky. But gonna look alright. Gonna look alright. Yeah, it's all interesting stuff. Modern technology, yeah. Because I wouldn't like to stop making videos. It's just, I don't know what it is, particularly, but I just find it enjoyable being in front of a camera. Don't ask me why, I don't know. It's something I find enjoyable to do, relaxing to do. I like talking to you people. And that's been one of the great joys of this hobby, meeting such nice people. It's been great. It's been a very rewarding experience. Do any of you remember I was saying about a person in our village that rescues hedgehogs? Do any of you remember that? Do any of you here that were around when I was talking about that? And I was saying she was appealing for donations. She came to RWI and was appealing for donations, give a talk and was appealing for donations. Got a Facebook page and got a wish list on there and stuff she wants for hedgehogs. She said, I rely on donations. What came out of the hedgehog feed? And I tell you, Frank, absolutely nothing. I've still got the stuff here. I can't get that stuff to her, no how. Don't ask me what her issue is. I have no idea. I mean, if I'd have been saying stuff about the woman or going online, you use it in the cookies. I said that to somebody the other day. Maybe I should grind up the hedgehog pellets and put them in the cookies. I wonder at the WI if anybody would notice if I ground some up, put it in the cookies, put a bit of chocolate on it. What if anybody would notice? Yeah. They'd all come down with their shits or something. But no, seriously, if I'd have been saying stuff about the woman or going online and writing stuff, you could say, well, she got a bit of a grievance against you for that. But it's nothing like that. All I did was went out and got a lot of stuff. Poetic justice. All I did was, went out and got a lot of stuff to donate to her. And she just won't have it. She just gives me excuses. Or she just ignores me on Messenger. Other people have said to her, Karen has a large donation for you. I really don't understand it. To me, it's very naughty, it's very ungrateful. I've told her often enough I have this donation. So to me, drop it on her doorstep and walk away. I would do, Frank. I would do, but I don't know where she lives. And there are one or two people in my WI that do know where she lives, and they're not going to tell me. Now, they may be under orders from her not to say for whatever reason, but one of them said to me the other day, not a few days ago, quite sort of smugly, oh, I know where she lives. Now, she could have said, even if she's under orders not to tell anybody where she lives, she could have said to me, I know where she lives, would you like me to drop the stuff around for you? She could have done, but she didn't. Why? I don't know. Now, not but a few days ago, somebody said to her, look, Karen has a large donation for you. And it came back to me via this person. She didn't contact me direct, but she could have done on Messenger. She had to go to this other person for some strange reason. And that person said, she's very busy at present, which I accept that. She's up every couple of hours during the night, sort of feeding hedgehogs. She sleeps on the sofa and she's having a new kitchen fitted. Now, I accept she's very busy. I can understand that, particularly this time of year. But like I said to the person that told me, I'm not interested in her sleeping arrangements, and I'm not interested in her domestic problems. I don't care. What I'm interested in is hedgehogs and helping hedgehogs. Now, sleeping on the sofa and having a new kitchen fitted doesn't come into it. It doesn't stop her from saying to me, look, Karen, I'm very busy at present, but if you want to drop the stuff round to my door, I'm in so-and-so afternoon or so-and-so evening, if you can drop it round to my door, that'll be wonderful. I live at so-and-so address. That's what you've got to say, isn't it? Saying to me through another person, oh, I'm having a new kitchen fitted, that's just a lot of crap, isn't it? That's just a lot of crap. And, I don't know what the issue is. I have no idea. But to me, it's very unkind, very unfair, very ungrateful, and very naughty, because you shouldn't go round to people like the WI or go online and ask for donations and get people to put their hand in their pocket to buy stuff for your whatever you're doing, and then not accept it. That to me is out of order. That's very unfair, very unkind, and not good. And It's not going to do, in the long run, it's not going to do you any favors, because you'll end up getting bad PR from this, and you'll start upsetting people. It's not a clever thing to do. Why she's being like this, I have no idea, because she doesn't really know me from Adam. So it's not as though she can say, well, you've been saying this about me, or you've been doing that. It's not, because she doesn't know the first thing about me, really. She met me for about 30 seconds at the WI, if that. One sort of church coffee morning, she had a stall for the hedgehogs at church coffee morning, and I said hello, and then again I said, I've got a donation for you. And she said, oh, well, that's very kind of you, thank you very much. But this has been going on now for like a month and a half. Now you mean to tell me you can't spare me 10, 15 minutes in a month and a half to accept a large box of stuff that's going to benefit your hedgehogs, or not your hedgehogs, but the hedgehogs that you're trying to help? See, being like this, all you're doing, I'm getting on one now, I'm sorry, but being like this, you're not doing yourself any favors, and you're denying those hedgehogs food and medical aid, which they could well do with. So why would you want to deny those hedgehogs food and medical aid that you're trying to help? I don't understand. I don't understand. What was that comment? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have, at present, I don't have any way of paying for stuff on Amazon at present. But the items she had, or a lot of the items that were on the Amazon wish list, I got the exact same items from other sources, if that makes sense. Because I didn't have any way of paying for them on Amazon. But I got the exact items that she was after, I got. But I take your point, if you can pay for stuff on Amazon, yeah, you can probably get them to send it direct to her rather than me. But it's very ungrateful. And when you're asking people and getting people to hand in their pocket and buy stuff for your endeavour, you cannot then, to my mind, you cannot then be picky about which ones you have, can you? Which donations you have. Oh, I'll have that. Oh, I don't want your donation. Because you're going to upset people. People are not going to like you for that. I've spent my money on your endeavour, and now you're turning around and saying to me, you don't want it, or you won't accept it, or you won't let me deliver it to you. No, come on, it's out of order. It's out of order. But what the outcome of this is going to be, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe a case that I just have to donate it somewhere else, to another rescue center. It's unfortunate. I don't know why you'd want to be like that. I can't get my head around that. Why would you ask for donations, then turn them down, You know somebody has a large donation of food and medical aid for the animals you're trying to help, and you won't accept it. You won't allow them to deliver it. All I get is excuses, or she'll even like ignore your messenger. What do they call that? Don't they call that ghosting or something? Isn't that the technical term for it? Ghosting. So I truly don't understand. Truly don't understand. It's maddening. It's maddening. And you dip out twice because you think you're going to end up not receiving this donation, So you've dipped out, and you're also going to dip out again because had you accepted this donation, I would have probably donated to you on subsequent occasions. So you're going to dip out again, aren't you? And it's foolish. It's foolish. And you can't um, you can't bite the hand that feeds you because you'll get bad PR from it. People, word will get around, and people will stop donating. Yeah, you're quite. That's as you say it, Frank. That's. I totally agree with you. I've sat and thought about this. You know, I've racked my brains over this, and I have to agree with you. I think that can be the only reason. That can be the only reason. Because there's no other reason. Because like I said to you just now, she doesn't know me from Adam. She doesn't know me from Adam. So and I've never said anything. I'm maligning the woman or been writing things on I don't know, on Facebook or whatever. I've just gone out, got a load of stuff that she wants, she's been asking for, and she won't let me deliver it. So you're right. It can really only be that reason. Can only be that reason, which is sad, and it's even if you don't like somebody for that, you should leave that in the hutch, shouldn't you? You should leave that back at the station and do what's right for the hedgehogs. You know, put that, whatever prejudices you've got to put that aside. Just accept the donation gratefully and do what's right for the hedgehogs. Because that's what you're in it for, to do right for the hedgehogs. You can't bring stuff like that into it. But I agree with you. I think that's probably what it is. It's a shame people have to be like that, but some people, unfortunately, they're still living in the, I don't know, what can we say, in the 70s or whatever, the dark ages. And yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame because being like that, you're just denying the hedgehogs much needed food and medical aid. I mean, there's a hell of a lot of stuff here. Just the food is 8 kilos in weight. You know, I mean, it's dreadfully sad. Dreadfully sad. Those poor hedgehogs are gonna dip out because I can see this is just not going anywhere. This is there you go. Such is life. We're all different. We're all different. But it's not going to do you any favours for sure, because you get negative press from it, and that's in this business or that business. That's not what you need. Negative press. You've got to be on the button all the time with people, and be smart with people all the time, because whatever person gives you a donation, how big or how small, it doesn't matter. Whoever gives you a donation, if you're nice to them, next week or next month, they might just do it again. They might just do it again. And when you're telling people your organization is run by donations, and you can't afford to turn donations down, and you can't afford to be shitty with people or funny with people, because word soon spreads, and you can't afford donations to start drying up because you're not going anywhere. So it's very foolish indeed. But, you know, on our own head be it. I do think also, I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I said, I do tend to think with some of these people that do these things, I admire them for what they do. It's great, and it's a great cause, and I admire them for it. But you do find, it's not all of them, but some of them, they get so involved with it, it's the be-all and end-all of life. It's absolutely everything to them. Nothing else matters. And they almost get a bit, obsessed is the right word. They get almost a bit detached from reality sometimes. It gets, their obsession and preoccupation with what they're doing sometimes becomes a little bit what I would call unhealthy. It gets too much. It gets almost like too much. There you go. I mean, but to me, you can't behave like this because you start hurting people's feelings and stuff, which is that's not good. And like I say, you know, you'll cut your own throat because word will get about, word will spread. People will start talking and saying, look, don't donate to her because she might not accept it and you'll be stuck with it, and she's difficult and all the rest of it. So everybody lives the way they see fit, I guess. Yeah. It's just a shame for the hedgehogs. Right. This is the last one to do the first coat of base flesh. Anybody left a comment? I just checked the comments again. Logic and reasoning won't help in this. What was that? Let me read that again. Some people actually that this is contagious. Logic, reasoning won't help in this case. It's sad. You're right, Frank. It is sad. Logic and reasoning won't help because I've tried reasoning it out, and why are you being like this? It goes round. It plays in your head a lot of time. Why are you being like this? What have I done? But I think it's like you said earlier. It's just I think it's just a race thing, isn't it? Or how can I say it? A gender thing. I think you'll find that's probably what it is. It's sad. It can't. Well, actually, can't really be anything else, can it? Can't really be anything else. No, there you go. It's a pity. You know, you try and help somebody along the way and try and do the right thing. And it makes you think, well, she's like this to me, she'd be like this to anybody else. I don't know. See, I was at my WI the other day because I'm on a committee. I'm a committee member. So it came round at the end of the committee meeting, or more or less at the end of the committee meeting, any other business, as all these committee things tend to be, or any other business. I put my hand up, me. I said, anybody here made a donation to the hedgehog lady? And 2 or 3 people said, oh yeah. So I said, well, how easy did you find it? And the girl next to me said, oh yeah, no problem. She said, I just told her I had a donation, and she said, come round. I said, you won't say that to me. And after the committee meeting, it was one of the committee members got in contact with her and said, you know, I had a donation. And that's when she said about having the kitchen fitted and sleeping on the sofa and stuff. Which to me, you know, doesn't mean a jot. It doesn't stop you from saying to me, it doesn't stop her from saying to me, look, I'm very busy at present, but if you want to drop the stuff around at my door, that would be wonderful. I'm in so-and-so evening or so-and-so afternoon. My address is, just pop round and you can leave it at the door. That's what you've got to say, isn't it? And then I'll leave it at the door and I'll piss off if that's what she wants me to do. I'll go. I don't care, as long as the hedgehogs get the stuff. That's what I bought it for. You know, it's no good to the hedgehog sat in my living room, is it? On the floor, the box is down beside me now. Loaded with stuff. It's no good here, is it? Yeah. There you go. There you go. Such is life. Yeah. Ours is not the question, just the reason why. Does make you sort of weary of helping anybody, you know? Because that's as some of you pretty much worked out by me doing the giveaways and stuff, I'm by nature a very generous person. That's just the way I am. One of my pet hates, I have a few, but one of them is having my generosity shoved back in my face. I do not like that at all. That doesn't go down very well with me at all. You know, each year at the WI we used to go to I always forget the place. Somewhere in North Cornwall we used to go. Christmas shopping. We used to get on a coach, go from here right up to North Cornwall. I can't think of the name of that place now. We always used to go Christmas shopping, this place. A whole gang of us would go into one of the cafes in this place. We'd all sit around this big round table and everybody would have whatever they had. Some of the people sat around the table, I didn't particularly know them, but we'd all sit around this table. We'd just a load of us, whoever was there at the time, and we'd all crash into this particular cafe, sit around a table, and we'd all have whatever we had. And I'd say to the waitress, oh, put that all on my bill. And you get objections from people. Oh no, that's all right, that's fine. You know what people are like. And I would say, oh yeah, okay, that's okay, fine. So I would leave it drop, and I'd say, excuse me, I just need to go to the toilet a minute. So I'd go up to the counter, and I would say, you know, that table there, put it all on my bill, and I would pay the bill before I went to the toilet. I didn't know. Some of them I knew around the table, some of them I didn't. I didn't care. I don't care. You're sat at my table. You're sat at my table. I will pay the bill, and you will accept it. That's the way I am. That's the way I am. You know, I used to go to this place Christmas shopping. Very rarely would I ever buy anything there for Christmas because they didn't really have the stuff that I was interested in. It was just a nice day out. I enjoyed the coach trip, and so my enjoyment from that day was in the cafe, paying the bill and stuff. So yeah, I don't like having my generosity pushed back in my face. That's doesn't sit very well with me at all, I'm afraid. I mean, you know, there you go. Um, I will possibly I will possibly always be wondering what the reason for this was. Although I, like you say, Frank, I think we pretty much realize, which is sad that there 2023 there are people like that think that way. But you know, some people are not enlightened yet. They're still living in the dark ages. Right, so this is the second coat of Panzer-Aces flesh base. Now we've got to the end of these figures. The first coat is dry on these figures, so we can go around again. Two finished coats is ideal on these figures. Be careful to make sure when you're brushing this on you don't get any air bubbles. Never knock anybody for their political beliefs, spiritual beliefs, the way they are, who they are, what they are, because we're all different, right? And we all have the right to be who we should be. You know, if somebody here in the village was to go around dressed as Andy Pandy, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. We're all different. Everybody's the right to do what they want to do. That's you know. Oh, don't do that noise, please. There you go. You probably won't be able to see this. Can you see that figure? Don't know how well you can see that. Coats of Panzer-Aces flesh base. That's ideal now. That's the basis for everything else that goes on top. Two thin coats. Looking good. Looking good. But I will, like I say, with this chap here, it's a nice pose, it's a nice figure. It's a very nice figure. The bread basket's a bit fiddly, Frank, I have to say. It's sort of like 5 pieces, and then there's the bread to put in as well, which is one piece with all the loaves on it. The hands fit quite nicely on it. Yeah, quite a nice figure, I have to say. It's going to look good when it's done. Quite nice detailing on the shirt and everything. Yeah, I look forward to getting him painted up. He's going to be a nice civilian. But I will do on that one, I will do a painting tutorial on how I do my faces. My faces probably wouldn't win any painting competitions for sure, but they're a very nice sort of tabletop wargaming standard, which is, you know, all I'm looking for. That's one of the things I really enjoy about painting these is the faces. I like doing the faces. One thing I have been thinking about also, and I meant to say this earlier and I got sidetracked with something else. I think it's this box here. Yeah. Model airplane tissue paper. Because I'm still thinking of doing the parachutes for these figures. So that's why I bought the tissue paper, the model airplane tissue paper. It's been going through my mind as well. There's a lot that's been going through my mind is this hedgehog stuff, believe it or not. I shouldn't let it bother me so much, but it's just annoying. But I've also been thinking about parachutes. 135 is a convenient size because it works out that a parachute was 35 feet across. The parachutes are ambitious, indeed, but faint heart never won fair maid, and I think I can do it. I think I can do it. Because like I say, 135 is a very convenient scale because I looked online, the parachute was, then go for it, I will do. The parachute was 35 feet across, apparently, which is perfect for 135 scale. It means you just need 12 inches across for the parachute. So you could get a balloon and blow that up to 12 inches. Then use that, you remember doing that as kids, don't you? Blowing up a balloon and using paper mache over it, letting it dry and bursting the balloon. You do something like that. I think you do it with that tissue paper. That's what I'm thinking. Then I'm thinking, my reasoning was to do this for sort of a bit of a live action sort of video. Yeah. Then my thinking was figures shouldn't be too difficult to find. You want some that are wash this brush out a minute, either sort of like that or like that, holding on to the parachute. Then all you got to do is put a small loop in the top of the parachute, and then you could let it slide down a cable, could you, like fishing gut cable, which would be semi-transparent. You had a line going down like that with a loop, and the parachute would just down the line. Well, the other way I thought you could do it was you'd have to work out the weight of this, mind. put a loop or something in the ceiling, and you tie the cable to the parachute, feed it up through the loop, longish cable, and you have a weight on the end of it. You have to work out the weight, so you pull the parachute right up to the ceiling, you let the weight go, and the parachute drops down with the guy on it. But you'd have to get the weight right so it comes down reasonably slowly, so it doesn't go. So you'd have to work out the weight, but that's another way you could possibly do it. Yeah, I think it can be done. I think it can be done, but it was very convenient when I looked online for the diameter of a World War II parachute. It was 35 feet. I thought, excellent. That's just 12 inches. That makes my life a lot easier. That's fantastic. But it would be good if you did a sort of war game. It would be great to take the thing to the next level, wouldn't it? And rather than just have static figures everywhere, you could get in a bit of live action of some kind. And I thought one way you could do it is with parachutes. I suppose the other way you could do it, talking World War II, is to have tanks with motors in and stuff. You could do that. A lot of these Tamiya tanks, if you actually look in the base of the hull, they got positions for batteries and stuff, so I assume they were meant to be motorized at some point. So that's another thing you could do, is motorized tanks. And I have watched one or two videos on YouTube how to motorize a 135 scale tank. It can all be done. It can all be done. It's just how, I guess, how keen you are to do it. How keen you are to do it. But I do fancy doing the thing with the parachutes, because like I've said to you before, I have this liking for British Airborne for some unknown reason. I don't know why. I just really like the British Airborne guys. So I think that would be fun to do. So I should at some point, I suppose, seek out some figures for this. Get some appropriate figures and make them up. Yeah, now you've got two coats of this flesh base on these figures. The details are really starting to pop out now. He's a nice guy. Great fun, great fun. A lovely hobby. How long have we been here on this? We've been over 2 hours. Okay, I'm going to let you all go and do whatever you're going to do now. I got to go and get a cup of tea. I'm starting to croak again. Didn't see Ely Folkmanis today. He's asleep on the chair over there. Maybe he'll put in an appearance next Saturday. Who knows? I'm going to go and have some lunch as well. Thank you to everybody for dropping by. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. Thanks to everybody for subscribing. Thanks for the chat. You're more than welcome. Hopefully do it next Saturday. You'll see a real bit of progress on these civilians and airborne characters. Have a nice weekend, Frank. Thanks for the chat. See you all further down the road.